Hey, I'm Russ Jones. Welcome back to another episode of Smoky Ribs. It was around February, March maybe of this year that a particular recipe went viral everywhere you looked, all across the internet, through your Facebook feed, all your social medias, including YouTube. And this recipe I'm talking about is the Mississippi pot roast, or Mississippi roast as I've seen it also called. Well, I was asked back then to do a video on that, how to make it. And I turned it down back then because it was just being done to death, and I didn't just want to throw it out there along with all the other ones going on at that time. Some time has passed, it's cooled way down, so today I decided to go ahead and do it, but in smoky rib style. I'm putting my own spin to it. And we're going to start with that first spin here on the Kamado Joe. The recipe does not call for smoke even in this, so that's one change. Got to have smoke, all right? Second, it's not going to be served over rice or pasta. We're making a killer sandwich out of it. I'm going to be smoking this with pecan wood, pecan smoke wood. That's another very southern thing. And so you know, the recipe actually was developed right here in Mississippi. It was Ripley, Mississippi, a woman up there. She took her grandmother's recipe and she put her own spin to it. And mainly the spin was, instead of using the powdered Italian dressing mix, she used the ranch. That's the only difference she made, trying to make it a little more tamer and milder for her children. And typically I don't use envelopes of powders and things like that if anybody's been following me for any amount of time. But in this case I will, because that's what the recipe calls for. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Going to be using the Kamado Joe today. I've just stoked it full of lump charcoal. I'm going to be putting 2 little pieces of pecan wood. We're going to put this off to the side just a tad. We're going to go ahead and put our deflector plate on. Go ahead and put our grate on. All right, so we got about a 2.5 pound chuck roast here. I'm just going to lay it right here on the grill. You see the smoke coming out. I've got it set at 200. It's between 200 and 225 degrees Fahrenheit. 45 minutes, no more than an hour, just smoke. We're not really wanting to cook this thing very far at all. I'll bring you back in 1 hour and we'll go ahead and take it from there. All right, we've been smoking 1 hour, and as you can see, there's plenty of raw meat. I haven't hardly rendered anything, maybe just a little bit of blood. No rendering of fat and juices, which is a good thing, but you can also see kind of a brownish tint. That's the smoke on there. Let's transfer that into one of these aluminum dishes. Now from here, this recipe calls for 1 whole stick of butter. Just gonna put that on top, wherever it may land. Now, like I said earlier, I hardly ever typically use things like this. I just don't. I usually do things from scratch, but this is what the recipe calls for, so that's what we're doing. We're going to take this au jus gravy mix and we're just going to simply put this over the top. We got this ranch dressing powdered. We're going to do the same thing with that. Last ingredient are these pepperoncinis. And that is it. All I'm going to do now is take some aluminum foil. We're going to cover this and we're going to let this meat braise. Now I am going to ramp my temperature up on the Kamado Joe. I'm going to ramp it up to around 250, no higher than that. It's going to be a low and slow. All right, so let's transfer this over to the Kamado Joe, close her up. Like I said, I'm gonna balance my temps no higher than 250, somewhere between 225 and 250. We have been going 3 hours and 45 minutes. This is a little roast, 2.5 pounds. It wasn't even quite 2.5 pounds, a little under 2.5 pounds. And as you can see, I've been playing with it, trying to see how tender it is. I just uncovered this, but it's just falling apart. This is ready. We're going to take it inside. We're going to shred this. We're getting ready to put these sandwiches together. So I'll see you inside. All right, I'm going to start by putting a thin layer of mayo on the top and bottom bun. And from here, I'm going to pop them in the broiler, and we're just going to put a real quick toast on these. I got my buns nice and toasted, nice and warm. We're just going to top this bottom one with some of this Mississippi roast. And you know I had to take a little sneak peek and see what this is all about. Oh my goodness, this is some good stuff. Really good flavor. This is a whole different element if you do it like this. As far as barbecue goes, this is not a barbecue recipe, but the way I've done it, I did add some smoke. It's coming through just right. We're going to take a couple of these little pepperoncinis, place here on top, slice of provolone. All right, I'm going to take this one, pop it back into the broiler, melt this cheese. We're going to finish putting this one together. Then I'll do the rest for the rest of the gang. All right, hot out of the broiler. There we go. Going to put our cap on it. Let's do a taste test. So let's give this bad boy a try. I have a feeling it's going to be excellent. Here we go. Got to be honest with you, I've never made this before in my life. I've seen the recipe, like I said, last March, February, it's everywhere. And I never got around to making it. This is my first attempt. I put a major twist to it by doing it on a Kamado and adding smoke to it. I'm pretty sure and pretty certain I can say that this is not the way it's supposed to taste. But let me tell you this, that pecan smoke mixed with what else went in there, this rocks. This is really, really good. Excellent. Hope you give that a try. I think I'm going to have me a French fry to go with it with some Whataburger spicy ketchup. Till next time, smoke your ribs.